What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. Happy NFL schedule release day. Had to get my guy Lake Lewis Jr. on today to talk about some of these schedule leaks and his observations and what he saw from the rookies at rookie minicamp over the weekend. Lake, how are you doing on this hump day?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I am phenomenal right now. It's the exciting time. This is the only league where they can make a spectacle out of the announcement of games.
Yeah, man. I mean, the NFL starting to really stretch this thing out to be year round, and they don't care who's playing on days. If it's another league, they taking over, and they're setting the schedule up, and that's what fans want. Fans are, look forward to the schedule release day just like they do the draft now. That's how big it is.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. And I want to say before me and Lake start getting into it today, Washington fans, our world, our reality, and what we've been accustomed to the last 25 years has changed. When you see this litany and bevy of primetime games, don't be afraid of it. Don't duck smoke, because we are them boys now, and our quarterback is they're propping him up to be the guy in the NFC at this point. And per Benjamin Albright, expect 6 primetime games plus the Spain game plus a Christmas Day game. What do you have to say about this attention that Washington is getting?
Man, do you remember we had a conversation back in March, and I told you I was told to get my passport ready, and you remember, and
Yes, sir.
well, I got it.
Yeah.
And this is real, man. I mean, like you just hit it on the head, Rio, when you said that the league is trying to prop Jaden up to be the face of the NFC as far as that quarterback, because we know who it is in the AFC. It's Patrick Mahomes. So I think that right now, if you're a Commanders fan, you're going to have to really start to alter your schedule, not just this year, but going forward. Like next year, I'm already hearing that we're going to play in France. So, get your travel plans ready. Yeah, because because think about it, this is a hot commodity right now, and with the draft coming to Washington in 2027 and a new stadium a couple years after that, they're going to get their money's worth from Washington right now. So as long as they stay hot, they keep winning, this is going to be the norm. They're going to be a primetime football team.
Yep, we got to hold up our end of the bargain. Now, if you're going to get the attention, you got to make sure it's warranted. But like you said, get your passport ready months and weeks ago. I've been saying for months now that it's going to be the Spain game versus the Dolphins. I've been saying hashtag JD Cinco. Best believe I'm going to have some JD Cinco merch getting cooked up right now from Washington on the daily. So be on the lookout for that. As we currently sit here at 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard, about a little less than 7 hours away from the schedule officially releasing. So far, I've heard week 1 at home versus the New York Giants. Week 2, Thursday night football at Lambeau Field at the Green Bay Packers. JP Finley just said not too long ago, week 6, Monday night football versus the Chicago Bears. Week 11 at Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid, Spain versus the Dolphins. Week 16, Saturday, 5 days before Christmas, versus the Eagles on a Fox doubleheader. Apparently, per Kevin Sheehan, Christmas Day at home on Netflix versus the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Eagles again to close the season. And there are rumblings that the Broncos game and the Chiefs game are also going to be on the prime time. And we don't know what the Lions game is going to be. This is crazy, Lee.
Yeah, see, I was hearing also that the Chiefs game and the Lions game. I didn't hear anything about the Broncos, but I heard that the Chiefs game as well as the Lions game very well could be on prime time as well. And we already know what the league does later in the year as far as flexing games. So, I mean, it could be even more on the schedule. I think for you, for a lot of fans, it's cool, but I don't like that because
that's your job.
yeah, man, I don't want to be traveling on Christmas Day. I mean, someone said Thanksgiving Day, and I'm like, nah, I've been there, done that. Don't like that. I like to eat on Thanksgiving. So
you're not trying to go to Northwest on Christmas Day?
No, not at all. I mean, but I know that this comes with the territory. When you win, people want to see more of you. And let's face it, how many times have you and I talked about, and even fans out there talk about how they get tired of seeing the same teams on Thanksgiving or Christmas game? They want to see something different. So Washington is the different thing now. I'm gonna say it. It's not going away anytime soon. So this is going to become a realistic, normal thing.
Yep. The Jaden Daniels effect has taken off and with flying colors but we've been saying this was coming. We've been saying it's going to be more than a handful. I said 6 at the minimum. We're getting 6 and an international game. Christmas Day on Netflix versus Dallas. That is huge.
It is. And it's needed, like you want to start. I think just not just from Washington's perspective, but the NFC East as a whole. They're trying to build that thing back up to the point where it is, the division. That's how it used to be before you were born. I mean, you a lot younger than me, and we always had these stories. I know you got sick of hearing them, but the Super Bowl came through the NFC East. That's just the way it was. Every now and then, of course, the Niners propped up or the Bears, but it literally was who beat each other up in the NFC East and who was the last team remaining. Normally was the team that you could bank on being in the NFC Championship game at worst. And I think that that's the way they look at this thing now with the Eagles, with Washington now. Don't discount Dallas. I know people don't want to hear that, but I think Dallas is, Dallas is ready to make some noise. Do not discredit them. And ironically, I don't think the Giants are going to be a playoff team, but they're going to be an improved football team. So the NFC East is back, and Washington's leading the charge as far as all these primetime games because of that quarterback, number 5.
The NFC beast is definitely returning. Like you said, I see a much improved Giants team, even if it's not playoff caliber. I see us replacing the NFC North and what they did last year, how they had a 15-win team, a 14-win team, an 11-win team. I'm not saying that many wins, but I think we're the division that gets 3 teams in the playoffs out of the NFC this year. I think someone takes a step back in the North, and I think the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Eagles all make the playoffs in 2025. Remember, before Dak Prescott's injury year last year that they pretty much sold as soon as he left,
they were in it.
They won 12 games 3 years in a row. This team is a perennial playoff contender. So say what you want about them, and we enjoy kicking their backs in when they're down. The division should all be up again, and there's a reason why they're opening the season going up to Philadelphia on banner night.
100%. You think that they would put a downtrodden Cowboys team, a sacrificial lamb, to send them up to Philadelphia if they didn't think the game would be entertaining? No, the league is about ratings, and mark my words, that's going to be one of the most watched games of the season. Because people want to see, can the Eagles do it again? People want to see, does George Pickens help Dallas? How does Dak look? How the new coach look? There's a lot of variables that you would want to watch that football game. And it's also going to show that the Eagles are serving notice that it's still our house, it's still our time, or the Cowboys are going to serve notice that, look, stop talking about Washington as Eagles' only threat. Maybe we are too. So I know I'll be watching it for sure.
Man, this is a crazy life. Appreciate you, C-Rob, for President TV. Christmas with the Commanders. Let's fucking go. Lake don't want to go out there and watch a football game on Christmas Day, but him and Miss Janine going to have to be up northwest in their Christmas get-ups.
Working. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, man, look. I'd rather be doing that than watching, the 2-3 days later on a Sunday, a team that has no shot of having good football or making the playoffs. So yeah, if that's the case, if I got to work on those days because I'm covering a playoff Super Bowl caliber team, I'm all for it. I can live with that. Done
are the days of 15 1 o'clock kicks in our annual get our ass kicked on Monday Night Football type of game. We are now living like we don't have a 1 o'clock kick in all of October and November. If JP Finley is correct, did we go 8 straight weeks without a 1 o'clock kick? That's crazy, man.
That's another thing I'm not happy about because it's getting out that stadium is going to take forever now. I mean, look, man, I'm just having fun, but this is crazy because in years past, when people looked at the schedule, it was to see, okay, is Washington ever going to have a primetime game? And then when they did see, okay, maybe they had 2 on the season, you almost counted those as 2 L's because they always wet the bed on, in primetime games. It's different now. This is a primetime team. Well, they're going to have to play on primetime, as far as on television. And I think, again, if you are a Commanders fan, man, you should be excited because all that stuff that you and I were talking about last season, and I was saying an 11 win type team, and people didn't want to see it. And I kept saying, listen, this is different. I know what I'm seeing, but more importantly, the rest of the league knows what they're seeing. This isn't a fluke. This team isn't just going to evaporate and go back to the losing ways. It's a model franchise now. It's a model modern franchise, if you can say that. It really is. So the league wants to be able to market that. And let's face it, Rio, the league has, it's been hurting for the last 30 years, with Washington being in the condition that they were in, because they used to be the blueprint. They used to be the Patriots before the Patriots. They used to be the Chiefs before the Chiefs. They were right up there with Dallas, with the Niners, as the gold standard as far as everybody wanted to see them. So the fact that they're back now, the league is going to make sure that they get their money's worth. They're making up for 30 years this year with all these primetime games.
Oh, yeah, this is a new life, man. Done are those old days, so get used to it. Don't cry about it and put your big boy pants on. There is always a murderer's row stretch of games, and it appears they're hitting us with the 2021 all over again. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I believe it's Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles to close out the season for us. So Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles 2 times in 3 weeks, the whole division the last month of the season. That's brutal, man.
It is. And the reason why I'm not happy about that part of it is because let's use Dallas as an example here. I know we're giving them a lot of shout outs today, but they played the Eagles week 1 in Philly. If Dallas were to lose that game, that's no big deal. No, because most people don't think they're going to win the football game anyway. However, if they lose, you can always say it was the first game of the season. They're still trying to figure themselves out. They're starting to get it together.
Fluky things happen.
Exactly. Well, when Washington plays the Eagles 2 out of the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, both those teams should be primed and humming at that point. And you don't think the league knew about that? Of course they did. That wasn't no random schedule creator from a computer. That was man-made scheduling, because they know, again, people are going to be tuning into that, and it's going to be one of those highly rated games.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's a stretch to close the season. So just to say that one more time, the Giants in week 15, the Eagles week 16, 5 days before Christmas in a Fox doubleheader, the Cowboys on Christmas on Netflix, and then the Eagles again to close the year. If the division is up for grabs, that week 18 game is 100% probably going to be your Sunday nighter to close the season, like possibly the final game of the NFL regular season.
I'm predicting it now. You know what that game's going to be? That game's going to be Detroit, Minnesota from last year. It's to be the number one seed. It's to win the division. And, history bodes well for Washington if they get to that point, because this will be the 22nd straight season that there could be a different division winner in the NFC East. So listen, man, this thing's about to get real. Like, this is crazy. It's nuts to see that. Every time I kept seeing something pop up, and then I got a call from somebody and said, I'm telling you, they told me Kansas City and Detroit are going to be prime time too. And I'm like, that's impossible. That's 8 games. So plus travel, so it's going to be busy this year. I'm going to get a lot of frequent flyer miles for sure.
Like standalone games, like the international game, we're going to be the only team playing, so the whole world's eyes are on us. The Eagles game, week 16, there's 2 games on Fox that day. We're the earlier game. All eyes on us. Half of our games played this season are going to be a national audience, and that is the type of audience that Jayden Daniels should be watched on, because this kid is special. His demeanor is phenomenal, and he's everything this franchise has been hoping for the last 25 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna go even further than that, Rio. He's everything this franchise has been hoping for since since their inception. Because they've never had a franchise quarterback ever. They've had really good quarterbacks. They've had Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, but they've never had a start to finish franchise quarterback, meaning drafted, developed, starred.
And nobody in
You
the
know,
chat say Sammy Ball. I don't want to hear about Jim Crow
nah,
era quarterback. Prohibition quarterbacks don't count
no,
in the
we don't. We're
conversation.
not doing that. You gotta put asterisk next to people at times. But listen, I'm just saying, like, this guy is something that we've never seen, and I know he had that one sensational first year, and there's still some skeptic out there who keep talking about this sophomore slump coming up, and please let me just shoot that down right now, because a lot of times those sophomore slumps are because the organization hasn't taken the next step themselves, to make sure that this person's taken care of. Washington's done everything to make sure that this guy is going to have a sensational second year. And need I remind people, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, in their second seasons, you know what they did. MVPs. So come on, man.
Yeah. It happens that way sometimes, man. Sophomore leap is so much more prevalent to happen with Jaden than a sophomore slump, but y'all can keep wishing it on him all you want to. Washington is the media. I would not be surprised if we're not on some form of Hard Knocks this year, whether that's the training camp version or the NFC East getting the regular season version of Hard Knocks. That's how big it is right now. They want us everywhere, and it also helps because it helps the rollout for the draft coming in 2027, for the stadium by 2030. It's all just adding up for the squad right now.
And if I'm the NFC East, I want this. I want this because if I'm the Giants, I definitely want it, because you got to acquit yourself after last year's Hard Knocks. That was a train wreck. So, if you can do that, if you're the league, why not? You're already trying to prop up the division again. Let's get that going. I would like that better in season than I would them being in Washington the whole time. And we know that they're not going to do that because they're going to be in North Carolina with Bill Belichick. But yeah, I think that would be good. I mean, if you're giving Washington all this love right now, you might as well keep that train rolling.
Keep it coming, man. Keep it coming.
And you know what? Let's think about it. They could have that lead right into leaving for Madrid, like showing the preparation and getting ready for that. It's all marketing, and I could see the league absolutely doing that.
Yeah, they eat it up, man. I'm telling you, Jaden Daniels, everywhere he goes, cameras will follow, and it's not going to be for salacious or wrong or demeaning connotation. Like, Jaden's not going to give us problems off the football field. Appreciate you, Reese Ludwig, for the $9.99 super chat. You my dogs for real. Question for Lake: what are the odds my boy Rio can get an invite to training camp? For real though, y'all been holding this fan base down. Keep up the grind for both of you. I mean, I'll be up there. I'm definitely gonna pull up.
We're gonna get you on the other side of the rope, man. For real. Yeah. I think you're deserving of that. I truly believe that. Not because we're boys, but you put in the work, man. You outwork some of the people I stand next to. I'm just gonna say it, And I think that because of that, you should be recognized. And on the other end of what I got going on, I think we can get that done.
Hey, we could definitely work that out, man. Don't let me get on the plane to Spain with Lake when it up in November. It's gonna be a time over in Madrid, man.
Hey, Macarena. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, man. Yes, sir. Looking forward to that.
Hell yeah, man. But to go away from the schedule for a little bit, what got lost in translation, there is so much news surrounding this team. The actual football gets lost in it sometimes. We did a whole NFL draft. Boom, we're getting a new stadium the next day. We got a whole rookie class to talk about. We're getting the draft in 2027. The rookies had mini camp over the weekend. How did it feel watching rookie mini camp where y'all don't have to sit back and count quarterback completions versus incompletions, interceptions? How did a lax, chill, regular rookie mini camp feel, Lee?
It's funny you asked that, because literally I have maybe 2-3 minutes of quarterback film, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, none of these guys gonna be on the roster. I mean, they might be on the practice squad, maybe one of them, kid from VTech, but at the end of the day, like, that's not the attraction, because that's where everyone was looking last year. Well, now looking at, Trey Amos, who's much bigger than I thought, looking at Connerly, I mean, my gosh, bro, he runs like a tight end. That he looks like
That's a
an
big guy.
athletic tight end playing offensive line. That's how elusive and quick and nimble foot he is, and then obviously, looking at Ja'Cory, Krosky Merritt, running, and he's more stout than I thought he was, so there's a lot of things there. Madrano's running around out there. Jalen Lane, my God, is he fast? Yeah, you can see everything. So it was cool, man. I was trying to make comparisons to last year's rookie class and this year's, as far as what I saw last year was like, wow, these guys look really, really athletic. This year's class is fast. That's the key word. All of them, even Connerly, they're fast. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see that.
Connolly got some good feet from the clips I've seen. That's a massive man. He may look like 15 years old in the face, but that's a grown ass man when you see him standing out there. And
listen, not to cut you off, man.
mm-hmm.
He's large. And he and I were talking off the record, and he shook my hand, man, and I was like, he didn't shake my hand, he dapped me up, but it was like, damn, like that hurt. He's a big boy, man. He's just a baby. Imagine in 2-3 years, once he's really gone through an NFL weight program, and his body even develops even more, he's going to be massive.
Yep. And before we get into specifically to some of the stuff they were doing, which undrafted free agents stood out to you the most during your time at rookie minicamp?
I'm gonna say this, and people are gonna say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna say this because you know him." No,
Big Gabe.
Gabe stood out
Big
to
Gabe.
me. He absolutely did, and he came on my show with me yesterday on Radio One, and he was a little down, just because they haven't extended him, but I told him it's coming. Don't worry. I really believe they're going to bring him back. I truly believe that. Not because they're going to, it's Sean's brother. No, I think he showed a lot of people out there that he was faster than what we thought. He was out there doing some things, making some plays, there was a kid that, wide receiver, that was 6'7", 200 pounds.
That was huge.
And I think Anderson, and I'm telling you, man, like, just to see him, I'm like, they gotta convert that guy to tight end. He's that big, and like, nah. Somebody told me no, he's legit wide receiver. Did it up, at the I can't even get it out, FCS level, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to prove you can do that at the NFL level. So he could be a viable practice squad candidate, but listen, size does a lot. And, this team, I'm sure, is going to be in the red zone, living in the red zone. Perhaps a guy like that could give you another target.
The two undrafted free agents I got my eye on actually cracking the 53 are Ja'Cory Brooks, the receiver out of Louisville, and Robert McDaniel, the safety out of Jackson State. What did you see from those guys at rookie minicamp?
Yeah, they actually stood out, made some plays as well, and there was a offensive lineman from NC State that, you could see some things with. So the thing that stood out is that everyone that was out there belonged. And it wasn't like wasted bodies, it wasn't like years past where it was like, look, man, you only need to keep your eye on 2 or 3 of these guys. No, like, they've got guys out there that are going to compete. And that's the word, competition. So they were doing their normal drills that they do with the veterans. And a lot of guys were standing out. A lot of guys looked sharp. Beautiful weather was out there. I mean, it was just a different vibe. It was almost like, I know this sounds nuts to say it with rookies, but it was like rookies practicing in a championship environment. That's the way I could say it.
Yeah, it's a lot different than rookie minicamp, because rookie minicamp is not supposed to feel as significant or as dire as we've made it seem over the year. We shouldn't be counting quarterback completions at rookie minicamp, but when you've starved and longed for one for so long, that's like last year at rookie minicamp, we wanted to know what every Jaden Daniels drop back looked like and stuff like that. It seemed a lot more lax, straight to the point, and we got an update on what we needed to get an update about, but it was nothing crazy. Trey Amos looks the part. He has cornerback one aura, swag, the gear, the drip, the size, the length of his arms, all of it.
Yeah, he's legit. I mean, just watching him and his drills, I mean, the backpedaling, the burst, it's all there. And the most important thing is, yes, he's got that cornerback kind of swag. You know who he reminded me of a little bit, just and I'm not talking about anything off the field or lack of production. No, I'm just talking about the initial when you first meet him. He reminded me of Breland.
I knew
He
you were
really-
gonna say
yeah,
Breland. I
yeah,
knew you were
he
gonna say Breland.
absolutely did. It was just this guy's confident, not cocky, not arrogant.
Mhm.
But I even asked him as far as lining up opposite Marshawn Lattimore, and there's a lot of
And
comparisons in their
you made a
games.
comparison. He kind of was like,
Bro,
nah.
he literally was
He was
like,
like, nah.
I mean, and I will say afterwards, he was cool. He came up, he was cool, but
Yeah.
I like the answer. Frankly, the answer was, look, we everybody's got their own game. You know what I'm saying?
He pretty much was like, there's one me. That I
Yeah.
took from that. Like, I'm not comp to nobody.
Yeah. He's like, I'm my own person. And you know what? I like that. I like that. He did say, obviously, he can watch them and learn from them and see how they carry themselves, considering where Marshawn is in his career. He said all that. But make no mistake about it. He was serving notice that, nah, don't compare me with anybody. That's the kind of confidence as far as players that Adam Peters is going out and getting. He's getting dogs, man. Like he's getting guys. I talked with Kane Madrano, and this is obviously off the record stuff, not off the record, but off the air. So you didn't see it, but I'm talking to Kane, and we just talking about UCLA, Big Ten. I always got to talk to my Big Ten guys. Talk to Connolly about it too. And I was telling them, don't let these Ohio State, Michigan guys in the locker room get at you because they're gonna try. Because I know Terry and I know Mikey, they're gonna get after him if they beat UCLA. And he was just like, yeah, nah, we ain't gonna have that, man. We still good, we still legit too. It's like you can just see like
Brotherhood.
don't diminish me at all in anything. That's how these guys think. That's that competitive nature that this football team has from 1 all the way down to 53. Even the guys on the practice squad are going to be competing to get up to the 53. You can't help but win like that.
See, Rob, for president, call me crazy. I think our defense is going to be top 10. Top 10 is aggressive, but I mean, I think
they will.
We'll be closer to top 10 than bottom 10. So I'm not mad at it, man.
I mean, listen, last year the defense wasn't as bad and porous as people thought they were. They just couldn't turn the ball. Run defense, and they couldn't turn the ball over. Well, we just talked about Amos. We just talked about some of these guys that have a chance. Madrano, that speed, that disruptive nature that he has. You look at his tape from UCLA, he gets to the football. He has an eye for that because he's a converted offensive player. So these are little things that you think that they weren't aware of this when they took some of these guys. They know guys that are going to be around that football. So I do. I think the defense is going to be better. I think Dedrick Wise, obviously, Javon Kinlaw. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with Javon. I do.
I think he's going to hoop, man. Peters loves him, man.
Bro, when I tell you he's going to be starting on the edge, I'm telling y'all that right now. And people are like, what do you mean? So of course you're going to have Duran and Jerzon, the 2 tackles. And then they'll have Javon Kinlaw on one side and Dedrick Wise or Dorrance Armstrong on the other side. So they think they have enough to get some things done. Now, I wouldn't rule out, not to go crazy on your show here, but I wouldn't rule out Trey either.
That was what we were about to get to.
Come on, man.
You see how we segue? This is why Lake has a radio show now. He just radio programmed me right there. We're segueing into the next subject. Trey Hendrickson with an aggressive trade at the deadline for Lattimore, with an aggressive trade for Deebo Samuel, which is a 5th round pick, with a very aggressive trade for Tunzel for a 3rd and a 7 this year, a 2nd and a 4 next year. Is there any chance Washington goes for one more aggressive veteran trade? And with what compensation would they get such done?
So let me ask you this right now. And I just had this conversation with Anthony Armstrong. We were just having this. Would you trade next year's first for Trey straight up, and you can get it done on both sides?
Yes. Yeah, and
You have to do that.
we're
You have to.
picking 27th through 32 in
And
the
hopefully
draft.
you pick in 32nd,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And we would have what at that point? We would have a third rounder, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh. We'd have 4 picks. Well, you know what? We have 5 picks this year, and
Oh, and
a player.
you're gonna get some other picks back because John Allen, you're gonna get a pick back for that, for him signing. So there's other opportunities to accrue a couple more picks, and then you could wheel and deal. But I just think that makes everything complete for this team to really put their heads down and let everybody know they're coming.
That is the cherry on top of a close the gap between Philadelphia Sunday. That's exactly what it would be because that is the last glaring hole on the roster at that point. And Dorrance Armstrong on one side, Trey Hendrickson on the other, Jacob Martin, Dietrich Wise, Cleveland Farrell, and Javante Jean-Baptiste for depth. Kinlaw playing inside and out next to Deron Payne. There would be no more excuse to not go for it right now.
Yeah, you would have extreme depth on that defensive line. You'd have warm bodies at all times. You'd have guys that you could, pretty much make specialists at whatever they do best on that line. You could have them in the game for those particular situations. And again, you're talking about a guy that's good for 17 sacks, man. In a bad year, Trey Hendrickson will come to Washington and get 14 sacks. That's still what? 3 more than what they had last year from Dante Fowler Jr. So I'm telling you, it could be a really good thing. And I think he would just blend in culture wise with this team. He's a good guy, hard worker, kind of a self-made guy. And that seems to be what they like here. They like guys that make their own way and make their own name from their own accord. And I think it would work.
I personally don't think we're going to get Trey Hendrickson. I think they're a little higher on the edge room that we have in the building. Or I think we would to go a cheaper route, like get one of these guys that was released or still out there, like a
Von Miller,
or Jadeveon Clowney or one of those guys if they didn't sign on a roster yet. But I think they're ready to roll with Dietrich Wise. Dietrich Wise is a more well-rounded edge player than Dante Fowler. He doesn't have to be rushed off the field and expedited as soon as a rundown happens like Dante Fowler did. So I don't think it's happening, but boy, would it be fun, and boy, would we talk crazy if a Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals just do weird business. Shamar Stewart is already holding out from rookie minicamp because they're already playing around.
I didn't want him. I didn't want him at all.
I didn't want him either. But like the Bengals they seem to not move on the same clock as the rest of the NFL.
Well, I mean, in fairness to Cincinnati, it's a small market. There's only but so much money, and people don't understand this, but the NFL is almost set up for the big market teams is where the deeper pockets owners, reside. And, they have a way to be able to give guys big signing bonuses so that the contract doesn't even, come into effect on the salary cap. Small market teams just can't operate like that. They just don't, so for Cincinnati, they put all their money and all their eggs in the baskets of, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, rightfully so. And I can appreciate that because you still got to sell tickets and you still got to try to compete. But we saw how horrible that defense was last year. It doesn't matter how great that offense was, that defense was giving up more points. So might be the same thing this year.
And Trey Hendrickson is the only great thing about your defense. He led the league in sacks with 17.5. He had 17.5 the year before. He does this. He's one of the better sack masters in the NFL. And it's something when a quiet, soft-spoken guy like Trey Hendrickson shows up in business casual to OTAs and just airs grievances to the media about the team. He wants his money, and he said, I'm not showing up if I don't get it this year.
And I don't see it happening. I don't think Cincinnati has that money. They just don't. They just don't have it, And let's be honest, because you put all that money, like I said, on the offensive side of the ball, you could get 2 to 3 players, for the money that you're going to have to pay Trey. So you could get 2 players, 2 good veterans, maybe you could get a Von Miller on a cheaper deal, and go out and get someone else as well. So they're going to have to think about that. But I think for Washington, listen, I'm not no GM, and that's why Adam makes the big money and does what he does. But I would dangle that number one for next year out there because that pick's going to be a low pick, if you ask me.
It's gonna be like getting Trey Hendricks for a second. Give him like 3 years, 105 million, and let him sail off to the sunset at that point. It's either that or we all wake up to that nasty notification that Howie Roseman and the Eagles Trey Hendrickson, and that's gonna make you throw up in your mouth when you see it.
No, you can't have that because, and if there's any indication of everyone talks about Howie being the mad scientist, well, if he's a mad scientist, then Adam Peters is right there with him too. I mean, and you could see. You remember we had that conversation about do you trade within the division? Mm-hmm. Well, your answer was given to you during the draft.
Division tax,
bro. You. I mean, and I asked Adam. You heard me ask him that in one of the pressers about trading within the division, and he said he wouldn't be afraid if it's the right fit, the right person. But when you answer the division tax, that's telling you you're going to have to make this a little sweeter for us to help you get better because they know now that they're going at each other. And Howie Roseman said right after that, after the Connolly pick, that was a really good pick for Washington.
Yep, their whole front office room, because I watched their draft video. I got to watch every team's draft coverage and stuff like that. I watched their whole video. They were, wow, that's a really good pick. So
yeah, so they know what's going on. They know the days of Washington just – we don't even need to mention it, but the guys that they were drafting, it's all makes sense now. It's not going to be like previous regimes.
And we also, as fans, we appreciate the way you conduct yourself at these press conferences because some of your counterparts, man, they be asking some bullshit at these press conferences. Like,
nah, I appreciate that, man. I had somebody from the team that I know tell me, he was like, bro, he said, Adam likes your questions, man. And I was like, yeah, he tells me that. He'll say, that's a good question, so that's how you know you're doing something.
You actually put some thought into it. You're not trying to create a moment or anything like that, but it's good questions, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I get practice with you, man. That's what we do.
God, man, that's what we do. Apparently, we're getting a new black helmet this year. My suspicion is they're tearing these numbers off the helmet and no longer want to look like Alabama, and we're throwing a burgundy W on the black helmet. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Done. That's what I pretty much was told. Yeah. So
we're taking that weird ass W off the middle of the helmet.
I hated that little. It was almost like you really couldn't even see it. Like what
like
is that?
It was like a sticker.
Yeah, and then they, all this Alabama love that they had with these players, and they did that with that. Nah, stop it. Put the W on there. Listen, man, I don't care what anybody says. That W is it, man. That's w a thing.
Fire, bro.
Yeah, it's fire. It's a thing now, and like I said before, I talked to somebody about that logo coming back too. Maybe not this year, but I've legitimately been told that logo's in play. The old Indian logo's in play. Not to be like not to be the replacement or anything,
like
but just
throwback uniform.
Yeah, but just to be around, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But that W is branded, man, and I said this before, when you go in the stadium and you see all them W's on every side of every seat, they're not taking all that stuff down. So the W's that's what's going to be on a black helmet. I like it.
Yeah, man, I like it. Black helmets, they're going to look even more sleek. I would like it if they, instead of the gloss look, go with a black matte helmet, just like the Burgundy's matte. Make it matte black with the W on it. That would be clean.
See, I think that's what's going to happen. I do. I think that's what's going to happen because I don't care what anybody else says either. I think that Burgundy matte helmet is dumb fire. It absolutely is. It's ridiculous, and I think with some of the alterations and things that might happen, you might get the white stripes around the yellow now, so some things to pop it out a little bit more. But yeah, that matte is there to stay. So I'd like to see them do that with the black helmet as well.
I'm hearing that the helmet announcement is coming at some point this summer, but we may not be adding that extra uniform that we thought we might have been getting this year, but we will see. We will definitely see. Jaden sent a uniform to the Hall of Fame for one of his performances last year, man. I think he's the best rookie quarterback, best rookie performance we've ever seen. I love that he already got that going on. How did JCM look at rookie minicamp? That's what I want to know.
You didn't see a whole lot, but as far as the drills and things, I will tell you this. Coach Lynn, that's my guy. Anthony's my dude.
Mhm.
Uh, he was hard.
Mhm.
He was tough on them on the backs, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously great coaching. That's what he is. Is a hell of a coach. But the intensity of which I saw, him pushing them tells me that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is not coming in here to be a guy that sits around on Sundays.
Or barely, or doesn't
Yes.
dress or on the practice squad. Yeah, that's not what's happening.
Nah, man, not the way I saw him being coached the other day. That tells me that they see something in him. And like I said, it was thicker than I thought, more stout than I thought. A guy that size with some breakaway ability.
It's that number 32 put like 12 pounds on him, don't it?
It did, man. I mean, the dude, like for if you didn't know any better, like he see, I'm trying to think of from this year's backs, from last year's backfield too. Nah, he's not as tall, obviously, as Brian. I wouldn't say as thick as Chris Rodriguez, but he's kind of like a combo of McNichols and Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like from a size standpoint.
But
Yeah,
he moves a lot.
but oh no, he moves better than any of the backs on the roster. Period.
Yeah, he has graceful feet. I saw a lateral agility and jump cuts in practice. I got excited. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, he's one cut gone. And I think in this offense now being able to kind of spread people out, man, I don't like making predictions this early, but I'm gonna tell you right now, he might take somebody's job, man. I'm just gonna say it.
and I think that's the plan. We're gonna learn a lot about what they feel about JCM and how we see his carries divvied up in preseason games, because
Yeah.
when you got a late round gem that you feel like is going to be a part of the plan,
You
he's
kinda
not going
hide
to get.
him.
You hide him. Like, they figured out like second week of Terry's training camp that this is going to be our number one receiver over Josh Doxson and them, and they hid that boy the rest of preseason. We didn't see that boy was wearing street clothes on the sideline for preseason.
Hey man, I just had this conversation with Anthony Armstrong yesterday.
Mhm.
Anthony came in off the street and literally didn't dress the final preseason game. And he said he was like, "Am I cut? Like, why am I not dressing?" Because he had already made the team. They had seen enough. By week 4, he was starting. This is what teams do. If they see something in somebody and they know they have something, sometimes that magical injury comes up too, so that they can make sure that they stash you away. Can't mention names, but some was last year, that you're going to see a lot of this year in their second year. That's what people do, and it's smart business.
It is definitely smart business. Jalen Lane, does that speed and athleticism, does it look like it does on film, seeing it up close?
Yeah, man. It absolutely does. And another thing about him that kind of caught me off guard, he's bigger than I thought he was. I'm thinking you get this 4.3 speed. And when I saw him in Indy and, things like that, we're sitting up. So you're not directly on the field. So you don't really get a chance to see these guys unless you see them over in the hotel or whatever. So I didn't see him though, but I saw him on the field. And obviously the speed stood out. Some of the catches he made stood out as well. But talking to him face to face the other day, dude is jacked. like he's got muscle on him. So this is going to be a guy like I'm gonna nickname him now. That's Debo Jr. That's exactly who he is going to be, and they're going to use him. Yeah, with a jetpack on him. Exactly. So that's Debo Jr. right there. So it's going to be, man. I'm so excited and just so curious to see how they put all this stuff together.
Man. I am so excited to see. Even Kane Madrano, you hear undersized linebacker, all of a sudden he puts number 56 on. He looks like a linebacker to me.
Yeah,
looks like a linebacker. I'm telling you, a jersey number is like the camera. It puts 10 pounds on you. All of a sudden he looked like a linebacker, but he can fly.
Bro, that's a great point. Look, man, I'm a little over 6 feet, okay? I kind of felt like when I was talking to Kane one-on-one, I don't want to say I was looking up, but I wasn't looking straight ahead or down. I can tell you that right now. And he
And
did.
weight wise, he looked so much smaller in his UCLA film.
He
I swear it's
did,
that
man.
number 56, man.
Man, I'm telling you, the numbers do change your perspective. And he did. He looked like I was like, dude ain't little like I thought he was, you know. And again, confidence. The way he was talking was, this ain't no project, folks. This a guy that has a chance to claim the third linebacker spot.
Yeah, he ain't
Just
trying. He
being
ain't here
upfront
just,
about
he
this.
ain't here just to play kickoff.
Right, exactly. He obviously, all these guys know his rookie special teams going to be a big part of their game, but I think this guy plans to be on the field. You know, when the season kicks off, he plans to be in the rotation. You know, maybe not as a starter, but I think a guy like him and Jordan McGee, you're going to see a lot of them. You might see Dominique Hampton. It's going to be some different looks out there that this defense will throw, and wrinkles that they'll throw at offenses.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about this rookie class. They're now intertwined with the veterans at the park. You see Jaden out there who's clearly put on some muscle this
Much
off
bigger.
season, and seeing these guys all together, just seeing them out there on the practice field wearing practice jerseys. It's that time of the year to get excited. We're getting the full schedule tonight. Oh, someone asked about Keegan Jones, the running back out of UCLA.
He was getting worked. Coach Lim was on him. That's what I'm saying, man. They were pushing these guys, and it's, again, they see something. They see something, even in a guy like Keegan. You know, you can see that they see something. I mean, I would be shocked if he wasn't on the practice squad. You know, because he's got talent. And of course, he's a UCLA guy.
Yeah, they love their Bruin. The other linebacker out of UCLA, as well as Kane Madrano, Ken Norton.
You know, that's Adam Peters' school, and Coach Norton, you know. So Ken, obviously, all these guys, you know, listen, man, these are talented football players. These aren't just, you know, do me a favor because we're Bruin alum. No, they're good football players, and one of them might have a chance to crack the roster as far as an undrafted one. You know, you offensive lineman, you linebacker. I mean, you'll see.
Iron sharpens iron, and may the best man win. That's how I feel about most of this stuff. They did release Trey Rucker, the safety that they had as an undrafted free agent. So that opens up the door for somebody like Gabe Taylor to get the summer tryout process with the team. We will find out about that sometime soon. So going back to some of these schedule leaks, if you're just joining us right now, I believe off the top of my head, Week 1, we're hosting the Giants for a 1 o'clock kick. Don't get used to 1 o'clock kicks. We're going to go 2 months without a 1 o'clock kick. Week 2, on the road, Thursday night football at the Green Bay Packers. Monday night football, week 6 versus the Bears. Week 11 in Spain versus the Dolphins. Week 15 at the Giants. Week 16, we're hosting the Eagles on Fox for America's Game of the Week Saturday. Week 17, Christmas on Netflix versus the Cowboys. Lake is not happy about going to work on Christmas Day at Northwest Stadium. And week 18, so finishing we're going through the division for the last 4 weeks. We're going Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles again. Eagles 2 times in 3 weeks. Our season's going to be decided in the last month of football.
And I think that's just the way the league wants it.
Okay.
I think the league likes that narrative of, could it be a 22nd season of a different division winner? You know, last time I think that happened was the Eagles did it in 3 straight years, in, you know, the early 2000s. So the league knows that. And you don't think that the fact that they match Washington and Philly up twice in a 3-week span, in a 4-week span, of course they know what they're doing, because not only is it, you know, going to be for all the marbles for the NFC East division, realistically, in my opinion, but it's also going to be setting up potentially a third playoff game, you know, for the second straight season. So I'm telling you, man, everything is I'm not saying rigged, but everything is set up from a rating standpoint. And it makes sense.
Yep, it's all making sense. And I see what these schedule prognosticators are doing with some of these games. It's 3 division matchups on Christmas Day. We're not playing on Thanksgiving. I imagine the bye is when we get back from Spain, but we don't know that yet. And we've yet to hear.
It better be.
Yep.
Come on, man. It better be. That's a lot of work right there, man. Seriously,
Yeah.
I expect to have a week off when I get back.
That's a hike, man. That Spain game is huge. This is the first ever game in Spain. That stadium, they call it the best stadium in the world. That's Real Madrid. They put $1 billion on the roof.
Come
They
on,
put
man.
$1 billion on the roof.
Let's just come all out and say it, man. We talked about this. I told you back in March, like I said, I was told, get this passport ready.
Mhm.
I mean, look at the stadium, look at what's coming here, look at the type of roofs on that stadium. It all makes sense, man. It's all aligning here. That stadium has that translucent glass stadium.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
gorgeous, bro. They spent
it's
a
beautiful.
billion on the roof alone.
Absolutely. So I don't think the new stadium here is going to have a retractable roof. I don't.
No, it's
But
gonna
I
have a translucent roof.
but it's going to have that same roof, but just it won't open or close, and that's fine. They're going to be able to go and see the engineering and get it. They've already been there, of course. But the point is, they'll get a chance to see how it is on game day. They'll get a chance to see how it is with people in the building for a football game, not a soccer game, not that kind of football.
Yeah,
So
and soccer venues are some of the best constructed in the world. They put the seats in places where there's not a bad seat in the house. That's why when they were touring the best stadiums in the world, they went to the UK and looked at all the best soccer
all
stadiums
of them.
because they do this architecture thing as well as anyone.
They have to. I mean, and you look at Wembley Stadium in England, it's these are great stadiums and they hold a lot of people, and more importantly, it's the infrastructure. Someone told me the infrastructure on the outside as far as how to get in and get out. And obviously that's been a big stickler for anyone that's a Commanders fan that lives in the DMV. Getting in and out of previously FedEx, now Northwest, it's a task, man. I'm leaving that stadium 3 hours, 4 hours after the game is ended because I have to do, post game stuff on the field 2-3 hours after the game's over. And it's still traffic when I'm leaving. So I'm thinking that they want to see, how the public transportation over in Madrid is going to work for how it could work back here in the States. And I think it makes sense.
Hey, Lake, we got another primetime game to talk about. The Commanders will host the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night. First of all, I don't know what the hell the Seahawks are doing on Sunday Night Football, but when you play against Jaden Daniels, you have a chance at being seen by the whole world. Sam Darnold versus Jaden Daniels. We're getting a lot of home primetime game. This is surprising to me, the home part.
It is Seattle, not KC, not Detroit.
Yeah, it's
Seattle. I can honestly say with a straight face, I didn't hear anything about that. So that's news to me. That's crazy, man. That is.
I don't see why that game's on primetime. Other than
I don't. I don't. But yeesh. I'm sitting there thinking, they did, unless they thinking it could be Jalen Milroe by that time.
I mean, Seattle's coming to Sunday night. That's a lot of home primetime game. Hold on, no, that's on the road, right?
No, that's on the road.
Hold on. No. We got Seattle here this year. We actually got Seattle here this year.
Yeah, you're right because it's that's the second. Yes.
We're hosting that, and Benjamin Albright hinted at the Broncos game being on primetime as well. We've heard the Chiefs game's probably going to be on Monday Night Football. We're really going to have between 6 and 8 primetime games this year. This is insane.
Yeah. So KC's at KC. Okay.
Yep.
And Seattle's here.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders game is here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then you obviously got the Chargers out there in LA. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that that's the team they picked to be here. I was thinking it was going to be KC or Detroit. So I'm really shocked by that. That's interesting.
Yeah, we go to KC, and that one's rumored to be a Monday Night Football game.
That's what I was told is prime time, but I was told Detroit is too.
Yeah, the Broncos are coming here. Benjamin Albright pretty much said it's prime time. The Bears is on Monday Night Football here. Like, we got the Packers at Lambeau on Thursday.
It could be 9 games, man.
Bro, this is crazy. We're hosting Dallas on Christmas Day on Netflix. Like.
So I need to see, when we're done with this, I need to look and see how many primetime games do the Eagles have? Because they're the Super Bowl champion, for God's sakes.
It sounds like we're going to be right up there with them.
If not more.
And I told them that. Because Shout out to them and respect on their Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts don't got motion like my quarterback right now, man.
Nah, I mean, and this is, people get mad when we say that. Like, no disrespect to Jalen Hurts. I told you he's top 5 quarterback. You got to put him in there because of his production. But from a skill standpoint, no, he's not. But from a production standpoint, absolutely, he's a top 5 quarterback. So no Eagles fans get at me. No, he is. We know that. But as I've said before, you put Jaden Daniels behind that offensive line with Saquon behind him and those 2 wide receivers out there, the Eagles didn't lose a game last year.
Wow, this is coming together, man. This schedule, I already told people too, with the way that they leak stuff and the way information passes on the internet, by end of business today, by 5 today, we will know the entire schedule. And we already know most of it right now.
So, man, the most beautiful thing is I'm still going to be able to cover my team, man. And I say that because that I'm from DC, and I mean, I can't say what's happening, what was about to happen, but I'm still going to be able to cover this team. And man, it's love, man. It really is. And to see them getting this kind of national attention, man, it almost brings tears to your eyes because you don't understand, man. Like over the years, just being in other people's venues or seeing friends in other cities, they're like, man, that must be hard to cover that mess. Well, now I remember Candy Waller and me were talking about the love that we were getting in Indy, people congratulating us like, man, they were super excited. And now to get all this stuff that's happening on a weekly basis, it's like every week now. If you were Commanders fans, you're getting hit with some big time news. Like only thing that can make all this stuff that can top all this is if they win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. And we have a shot at it. We're making a run at it. We have a shot at it. And the quarterback could very well win the MVP in his second season because he's that type of guy.
If they go to the Super Bowl, he's going to win the MVP.
And I think the regular season he puts together might already have it clinched by the time, because Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson ain't been to no Super Bowls yet, and they both got MVPs in their trophy case. So it's time to see another quarterback enter those ranks. And the NFC is begging for a superstar quarterback, not a quarterback being carried by his supporting cast, but a quarterback that is actually the system. A quarterback that the team marches to the beat of his drum, and it is currently Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Hurts in the NFC. And I'm putting my guy number 1. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I have no argument with you on that. I think naturally we recognize that the Eagles are probably the better team just from top to bottom. Not by much, not by much, because I'm gonna say this again, not by much. Washington has closed the gap considerably. And I'm not saying that, I still have the Eagles right now as a 92 grade. Okay.
Last year, it could be higher.
Last year, their final grade for me was a 96. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're a 92 because they've lost some players, and some of those losses are big, and they lost their offensive coordinator. You can't discredit those things. Those things take time to figure out a new nuance in how you do stuff. Washington brings everything intact back. And with the additions of a couple of Pro Bowlers on their offense, and Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil, I don't have to go through this. Everyone who's watching knows all this. They've clearly closed the gap. Now, the other big difference that makes them close it even more, his number 5 is in his second season, so nothing's going to catch him off guard now. And he's in his second season with some weapons and with an offensive line that's going to allow for him to not have to make a decision in 2 seconds. He's going to be able to survey the field a little bit longer, and he's going to be able to decide if he's going to run on you. It's just, he's going to be more dangerous. Trust me.
As a media person covering this team, which games do you have circled on the schedule?
I mean, the Eagles games, I'm going to just say that flat out. Those are the first 2 because those games are going to mean something. Those aren't take a day off games. I mean, it could sink or swim your, or your season. So clearly those 2 jump off to me. And then of course the Chiefs game, because we were just this close from seeing that last year in a Super Bowl setting. Patrick Mahomes versus Jaden Daniels, the old head against the young gun. I mean, yeah, you were expecting to see her, and Patrick's not that old either, but the point is, I was expecting to see that. And then the other game too that I'm still excited for. There's two more. It's the Lions game because some people called that win a fluke last year, even though they went into Detroit as underdogs and beat
10-point
Detroit.
underdogs.
Yeah,
Yep.
and people were like, "Oh, Detroit was all beat up and injured. They, that's why Washington beat them." That's the same Detroit team that beat the team that had the second best record in the conference last year. Beat them down in that final game in Minnesota. So no, and then of course I want to see the Bears game because that's going to have some extra juice on it with Ben Johnson, and then of course with Caleb Williams. So listen, man, the Cowboy games, there's a bunch of games that I'm looking forward to. And somebody might say, well, why are you not talking about Spain? God, man, y'all just don't understand, man. Them plane rides and just ooh, my goodness gracious.
Fans ain't trying to hit that shit late.
I'm trying to tell y'all, man. People like, oh, Lake, stop complaining. You got a great job, great life, and I do, and I'm not complaining. I'm blessed. God's given me a great bit of everything, but man, I'm just saying, bro, to have 8 to 9 primetime games, it's gonna be late nights. I saw one of your followers put in the chat box earlier in the show that the graveyard shift fans, they in trouble now.
Gotta move to the morning. You gotta have to move it to the morning. And everybody can go to church service. You can go to the 11 o'clock service on Sundays now, especially at a Baptist church. You can go to church on Sunday because we're not playing at 1 no more.
Yeah, exactly. You can be in there and be mad. It's 3 o'clock. I'm still in church. Nah, it's okay. You can leave there and come straight to the stadium because now these games are gonna be late. But boy, if the NFL ever was signaling, love and showing people that they believe that this is a real thing in Washington, it's in your face now.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even got all of it yet. Word on the street, maybe week 13, Sunday night against the Broncos. We're still waiting to hear about the Lions game. Word on the street is Monday night for the Kansas City Chiefs. My goodness, that final game of the season versus the Eagles, if there's any playoff implication, it's going to be the closer of the year. It's going to be like Lake said, that Vikings versus Lions game to close the year last year.
That Lions game going to be something too. I'm telling you, if anything, it's 4 o'clock. I mean, This is real now, man. I literally was saying to myself a couple weeks ago, they'll have 5 games, five primetime games, and then we'll travel. So total of like 6 unique games. Man, they had 9 right now.
Oh, this is 8 or 9. This is crazy. This is crazy. And then I see an Eagles fan come in. Y'all aren't prime time. Y'all are playing at 1 versus the Giants on Sunday. I know, because we're playing so many primetime games and standalone games this season. We are all over the map. There is going to be at least 8 times this season where we're the only game on TV during our game. So sit back, grab your popcorn. We'll see y'all week 16 and week 18.
Man, I keep saying this, and I'm going to say it again. I got family to live in Philly. That's where half my family is. It's just so amazing to me that a team won a Super Bowl with a dominant team. That Eagles team is one of the better teams we've seen.
Yes.
We've seen, and defensively.
They're built to last.
And they're built to last. So no one in DC's discrediting the Eagles. They see them for what they are. They're Super Bowl champs. And until somebody beats them, they're the Super Bowl champs. But I swear, man, I've seen so many Eagles folks popping up in my chat boxes and talking stuff. And I'm like, that tells you that they are worried. They know. So, and if you say you're not, then don't come into these kind of chats and try to inflict this stuff on us, because we know that they're coming. And their players know. I mean, AJ Brown said it himself. I mean, he said, get Jaden a couple more things, and what they did. So come on now.
Yeah, they wake up before they wipe the crust out of their eyes. They're talking about Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. That is not the type of behavior I expect to be conducted from the Super Bowl champions. But clearly, they see that we coming. There will not be no more of that 55-23 nonsense that happened in the NFC Championship again. But I'm gonna let Lake rock because I'm pretty sure with all this scheduled news and stuff coming out, Lake is gonna be a busy man. Let the folks know what you got going on your channel. Let the folks know what type of content they can expect and what you're gonna be doing.
Yeah, man, it's a lot going on. I definitely got to shout out Heavy, Heavy.com. I'm doing some NFL
Hey.
writing for them, and appreciate them reaching out. And then of course, the podcast, which you can see here on YouTube, the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. You can also listen to it, and if you live in the DMV area, from Baltimore to Richmond, you can listen to it on WOL. It's 95.9 on the HD radio, and then of course 1450 AM. So yeah, man, and then of course, Sports Journey, got some stuff going on there. Also an insider for ESPN in Richmond, and then insider for CBS television in Richmond, and then of course do the same thing back up there for Channel 7 ABC in DC. So yeah.
Hell yeah, y'all make sure y'all give my guy a holler. My guy is doing big things, and expect him to go even harder when the season gets going. And y'all know how them Rio and Lake Victory Tuesday pods be during the week when the season comes around and when the updates come around for training camp. So y'all make sure y'all give my guy a follow. Thank you for blessing the program as always, Lake.
Appreciate you, fam. All right now.
Yes, sir. Be easy, my guy. So let's talk about this schedule some more, because we're probably about a couple hours away from knowing all of it, knowing every single aspect of it. I haven't seen it confirmed by anybody like yet, but allegedly week 13, prime time against the Broncos, Sunday Night Football. Let me just tell you about the power of one Jayden Daniels. The man has changed our lives here. It's not like he's done miracles on us, guys. Like my man Rocky D said, appreciate you for the $5 super chat. What in the fuck are the Seattle Seahawks playing on Sunday Night Football for? I know Monday Night Football sneak a random team on there every other week, but what are the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football for? I'll tell you why they're on Sunday Night Football. Because they're playing against the guy in the NFC. They're playing against Jayden Daniels. You know how they be sneaking teams on prime time against the Chiefs because they're playing against Mahomes? They're doing the same shit with Jayden. He's getting the same superstar treatment in year 2. The fuck are the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football for, guys? Oh, wait. I don't know. I have no idea why the Seahawks are on Sunday Night Football, but I'll take it. And it's at the crib, and it's at Northwest. It's lit. We are going to know Washington's whole schedule before we get to 8 o'clock. And especially because a lot of this shit is nationally televised. So they can easily confirm these games because they're coming on NBC. They're coming on ESPN. They're coming on Prime. They're coming on Netflix. Like, I'm already getting it programmed at this point, man. Shout out to Lake, by the way. Lake is a class act. Lake is one of the realest. No, Lake is the realest person in Washington Commanders media. Lake asks real questions at the press conference. He doesn't stumble over his words or sound like, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. But Lake, the realist in the game, man. Shout out to him in our weekly appearances that we do during and the off season and in season. But as we sit here right now at 2:14 p.m., week 1, 1 o'clock kick versus the New York Giants. Do not get used to 1 o'clock kicks because for 2 months straight, we're not going to have a 1 o'clock kick. Week 2, on the road, Lambeau Field. We do not have to play or deal with the conditions of the frozen tundra. We're playing in Wisconsin when it's actually fucking normal outside. Thursday Night Football, the first Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football game of the year. I won't call it the first Thursday Nighter because the Cowboys and Eagles are opening up the season on NBC on September 4th. And Monday night versus the Chicago Bears, week 6. Spain game, Dolphins, week 11. Allegedly, haven't seen it confirmed yet, allegedly, Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, some type of primetime game versus the Denver Broncos, week 13, allegedly. Week 15 against the New York Giants in New York, probably another one of our rare 1 o'clock kicks. Week 16, Eagles on a doubleheader, Fox 5 days before Christmas. once again, all eyes going to be on us that day. It's us and the Eagles at 4:30 probably, and the Bears and Packers, I believe, at 8 that night. They're the later game that day. Then 5 days later on Christmas, the Cowboys, Netflix, Cowboys Commanders, DC versus fake DC. Dak Prescott and Jaden, first time going at it. Now, they'll probably play earlier in the season at some point, but they haven't met yet. They haven't played in the game against each other yet. And then the Eagles again to close the season. If there's any playoff implications, that will certainly be on prime time as well. Most of what I just said is a prime time matchup. So that is the life we are living now. Washington fans, I suggest you put that PTSD aside. Put the past 25 years of turmoil and dysfunction and shit aside, and put your big boy pants on, because we're not ducking smoke. We're not ducking prime time or none of that shit. We're not afraid of any of it. This is our lives now. Get your feet kicked up, pull out a cigar, and get used to the good life, because we are here. We ain't going nowhere, baby. We ain't going nowhere, baby. This is what happens. Exactly. We don't know the bye week yet, but I'm going to take a solid guess and say it's after the Spain game. So week 12 is probably going to be the bye at some point. But Seahawks, Peacock, birds fly, don't matter. Commanders in 5. I love it. I love it. Hit him with the Uncle Shay Shay. Hit him with the Uncle Shay Shay. I don't even know if we can call Uncle Shay Shay Unc no more, man. He lost that privilege for right now. You're the best of the biz, real easiest to listen to. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Gonna have to get all these streaming apps to watch my team. But you know the local channels are always gonna air. If you're local, they're gonna put the game on like NBC or CBS. They're gonna put the game on a local channel for you to watch. The local team, if you're in the DMV, you're always gonna get the Commanders. But if you're outside of here, yeah. And as far as we don't know it yet, but the Broncos game allegedly is going to be in prime time. The Chiefs game allegedly is going to be a Monday nighter. And we don't know what the Lions game is going to be. So we still waiting on a lot. This is my last. Before I get out of here, I want to close with this. This is all I ask out of this football team for the rest of this day. Please make a schedule release video worthy of the ascension in the trajectory that the team is on. Please, none of that major tutty. Is this cake? Is this not cake? Rec room, Photoshop pictures with Ron Rivera bullshit. None of that. Put a budget into that shit. We got multiple billionaires owning this franchise. It don't gotta be Matt McConaughey, Dale Jr., and KD in the video, but give us a script. I watched the hype videos during the season last year. The shit was cinema. It looked like it was shot from fucking Christopher Nolan or some shit. So there's a budget in the content team. I need us to go crazy. Yeah, exactly. No more of that weak sauce shit. No more of that. It don't gotta compete with the Titans and the Jags and the Chargers with the anime shit, but it gotta be cold at least, bro. We got Jaden Daniels at quarterback. We can't be coming out with the Fugazi great value schedule release video no more. This is a content team Super Bowl. Is the day you drop the schedule release video. So don't y'all dare let us down with that shit. I need something, man. I need something. Give me something. No more Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Adam Rank prediction. You know Adam Rank going to pick us to win 4 games, and he going to pick the Bears to win 13. Nobody do it like the Chargers, bro. And next stream I have, probably tomorrow, we're going to go take a look at a bunch of teams' draft videos, and we're going to like power rank them and kind of like tier them and see how ours compares against the rest of them at that point. But I need it, man. I need it to be good. I need it to be good. Chiefs week 10, Monday Night Football confirmed. Is this true? Let me scroll through my Twitter timeline right quick. See, we putting the whole damn schedule together, y'all. We putting the whole schedule together. Where y'all see that? Who reported it? Who reported it? There we go. I just seen something. Hold up. Hold up. NFL schedule league. Yeah, week 10 Monday Night Football by who? Nate Taylor. Nate Taylor, Chiefs writer. Okay. An esteemed Chiefs writer. Yep. Okay, fine. Here's an interesting stretch of the Chiefs. Yep. Week 10 Monday Night Football at the Chiefs. The Commanders at the Chiefs. There we go. We got another one, y'all. We got another one. Oh my gosh, we're piecing this whole thing together. What an exciting day to be a Washington Commanders fan. I need somebody to, okay, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is exactly somebody that could kind of piece together all of the updates we're getting so far. So let me pull this up on the screen. I need a writer from the Broncos. Benjamin Albright said it's prime time when we play the Broncos, but they didn't put it out there yet. So I don't know if the Broncos shit is confirmed yet, but everything on the screen is confirmed from Washington's schedule so far. Look at all of this shit. Look at all of this shit. Giants at Packers Thursday Night Football. Bears Monday Night Football week 6. Bro, we go Sunday night to Madrid, bye and Sunday. Now that sounds crazy. Sunday night, Monday night, Madrid, bye week, Sunday night. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. I need to hear that the Broncos game is actually on Sunday Night Football, because that's an insane stretch. Listen to that stretch between week 9 and week 30. Is that real? That don't sound very realistic, bro. Sunday night, Monday night, NFL Network in Spain in the morning, probably a bye Sunday night. That's insane, bro. And then we got I don't know what's week 14. And then we got our little peasant 1 o'clock game versus the Giants, get them out of there, finish the sweep. Then we got the Eagles, the Cowboys on Christmas. The other Eagles game probably is going to be on prime time as well. Good God. Goodness. This is our lives now, y'all. This is whoa. Who confirmed the Broncos shit? Because I've seen it be suggested, but I haven't seen it. Raiders week 3, 1 p.m. kick. Aussie NFL said that. That came out too. Okay, let me check. Because there was a whole fake graphic of week 1's leaks that came out yesterday that I was throwing around. So you never know. Let me pull it up and let me see what's out here. Yep. Ozzy saying week 3, 1 p.m. kick versus the Raiders. So we go Giants, Packers, Raiders to open the season, and I'm not mad at that. Damn, our schedule is almost fully out there, bro. It's because it's popping too. Imagine the fans who don't even get leaks of their team schedule. Imagine sitting here right now not knowing anything about your team schedule. Can't relate. He confirmed the whole Broncos schedule. All right, bet I did not know that. Thank you for that. Rio, which team era besides this current era would you have liked to see JD5 play on? None of them. We got JD5 at the right time. I don't want to imagine him playing for any team that I watched growing up, because this team been ass my whole life. And just the little glimpses of baby success we had, I wouldn't have want Jaden to have been a part of anything that had Dan Snyder's prints on it. So, yep, none of them things, man. Atlanta game is normally always in October. How about when we play the Bears? We always play the Bears around week 6. I believe we played them in week 6 one year, week 5 one year, week 8 one year. We're back on week 6 this year. Yeah, I don't even want the thought of Jaden being in a building that Dan Snyder runs. So I can't even like dignify thinking about Jaden on any of those fucking teams I grew up watching, bro. Last year cleared any season I've ever watched this team play. 2012 was fun, but it wasn't this. Man. Man. What a time to be alive, man. Monday Night Football, Jaden versus Mahomes is going to be a movie. It's going to be an absolute movie. We are all over this shit, man. The NFC beast is back, baby. The NFC beast is back, baby. Oh my gosh. Derrick Henry, one of the few running backs fighting the running back wall age, still getting 2-year, $30 million contracts in his 30s. He's fighting the myth. I mean, he's built like a fucking machine. So what's up, family? I'm ready for the season. I hope we have a late bye week. I'm not confirming anything, but I really think the Christmas game is the 1 p.m. game. So it's the 1 p.m. game of Christmas on Netflix. Okay. We have the most primetime games in the NFC East. Is that including the Super Bowl champions? Did we not tell them? When does Terry get extended? Probably during that dead period between mandatory mini camp mid-June and the start of training camp in the last week of July. So somewhere between the middle of June, the middle of July is when I would expect Terry to get extended. Ozzy confirms the Christmas games as well. Rio, we need a Madden 26 Commanders franchise mode series to get a glimpse of this season. Pretty much. I'm ass at Madden at this point. I've spent so much time playing like story-based games and other games like with my kids and shit that I'm not even good at Madden anymore. I get it just to do seasons on my own and to chill because Ari Meirov just put the whole Dolphins schedule on the timeline. Like that's what the schedule release is pretty much obsolete at this point because we already figure everything out by the time we get to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Go with some food in my system. I got another appearance to do. Commanders Kings tonight. Make sure y'all go to the Commanders Kings channel. 8:15, we're live reacting to the entire schedule. Go ahead, check us out, man. Commanders Kings, me, Ed Oliver, Street Scores, Rico, and Louis T will be live talking about the entire schedule. We'll talk about it later, man. 8:15. I'll see y'all in a couple hours. Hell to the Washington Commanders. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe on your way out, and let's get active.